what are some of the changes that have been made between Battlefield 2's Dragon Valley and Battlefield 4's updated and expanded version? Are there any glaring differences that veterans will surely pick up on, or are we looking at a more subtle redesign and update of the much-loved map? Well, let's find out. The first, and perhaps the most noticeable difference, is the scale of the map. It wasn't small back in Battlefield 2, but now it's been given the full Frostbite makeover and all the perks that come with it. Each capture point on the map, of which there are 7 here, more than any other Battlefield 4 map right now, is much more complex than it was back in Battlefield 2. Of course, gaming platforms like the PC and the consoles, the Xbox One and the PS4, are far more powerful today than the PCs that ran Battlefield 2 back in 2005, and as such can handle a much higher level of detail and number of assets. This has meant that devs have almost reworked every single capture point, giving them more complexity and overall brought them in line with what we'd expect from a capture point in a Battlefield 4 map. For example, the island flags in the centre of the map, they are G and H, are now much higher up in the scale overall. The temple in particular is now much more substantial and elegant than it was previously, creating a great infantry haven where foot soldiers can do battle. And this links well to the hilltop flag, which I call the pagoda, but it's actually called hilltop, which again provides some limited cover for those infantry soldiers. And access to these flags has been changed as well, with only 2 bridges connecting it to the mainland and a water crossing on the east side of the island. This emphasises the area as an infantry-centric point, because heavy armour can only really access the island in 2 very obvious places. If you have an Amtrak, you can make it across the water crossing, although I'm not sure about the MBTs. But if you are wanting to keep that island an infantry-centric place, you can destroy both of the bridges. And if you destroy the one at the bottom of the island near the small fishing area, that actually cuts off the route for watercraft to get round the island as well. So if you do control those 2 infantry flags on the island and the bridges are down, you have a near impenetrable fortress from people in ground vehicles and very much infantry trying to get onto the island as well. They have to make themselves very obvious swimming through the water to be able to get to you, and that leaves no other option but to go to the sky in order to attack. And this, of course, is just a redesign of 2 of the 7 capture points. So in a sense, all of these capture points have been changed quite a lot, but they should still be recognisable today for what they were back in Battlefield 2. And speaking of the sky, actually, that's the next thing that's changed. As I mentioned with the island flags, Dragon Valley is now much taller than it was previously, which has given way for a massive open airspace. These were covered in volumetric clouds, but these have since been removed and replaced with standard clouds, I think, instead. This still covers the huge draw distance that's possible in Battlefield 4, and you can see all the way from one side of the map to the other, as long as you're standing at the right angle. But one thing that's completely absent from this version of Dragon Valley that was in the Battlefield 2 model is the pipeline. DICE LA decided the inclusion of the pipeline was no longer needed, as the draw distance is now so huge, people would simply get slaughtered when running along it. If you didn't know, back in Battlefield 2, the pipeline was used as a big flanking route to be able to get behind the enemy team. And of course, the final thing that you're probably going to notice of the changes here is a graphical fidelity overhaul. DICE LA have done an amazing job at making this map perhaps the most stunning of all available now in Battlefield 4, and that's putting it alongside the new jungle map, Operation Outbreak, and other amazing maps like Giants of Corellia, Hangar 21 from the Final Stand DLC, and even Operation Mortar from Naval Strike. To give you an obvious example of the work that DICE LA have done here, here's a screenshot of the waterfall from Battlefield 2 that's on the Dragon Valley map, and now here's a screenshot of the Battlefield 4 map. Yup, they've worked some magic. Unfortunately, the release of this map, or at least the release date, is still unknown, but the changes to the map are merely performance improvements. DICE aren't going to be adding any more assets or making any changes as far as I'm aware. The final graphics update was done over a week ago, and if you missed my video on that, you can catch it here in the top right hand corner. But we really are close to the final release now, and I anticipate it to be within the next 4 weeks at a maximum. Most likely in December, but I don't have any solid information really. I'm just guessing. They did say they wanted to release it before the end of 2015, so if they don't release it within the next 4 weeks, then it's going to hit Christmas time and things are going to get complicated. Maybe we could look at it as an early Christmas present from DICE. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me some comments, as always, they are appreciated a massive ton, and give me the old thumbs up too. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.